Was I the ghost? When I was growing up, we would go and visit my grandmother on the east coast of Florida about once a month, so I was just as comfortable in her little town as I was my own. Even at the age of 10, I knew all the back roads and shortcuts and scenic drives. One afternoon, my mother and I were in the car and were taking a leisurely ride when she took me farther down a known road than I had ever recalled being on. She then took a left and got on a road that ran through the salt marsh. As we are going along, she is sharing stories about the swamp ape and other local legends, when I look up and say, "Oh, I know where we are. I recognize this area. I came down here with Grandma once." My mother was confused because my grandmother had not driven in years. She didn't even own a car. I proceed to tell her about coming up here and describe a big Victorian house on the corner, overlooking the marsh. As we approached the curve, I said, "Here, it's right up there." My mother pulled over and there was no house on the hill as I had remembered it. "Where is the house?" I asked. You could clearly see that at one point there had been a homestead there. There were remnants of a stone walkway and retaining wall, and the way the trees were spaced and the ground leveled out. I went on to describe the two-story house in full detail, from the gingerbread wood carving to the porch swing. My mother kept asking me questions, and I kept answering them. I told her that I had come with Grandma to visit a friend who was ill, and that she had brought food for the family, and that I remembered playing with a little girl on the front porch and swinging in the swing with her. It was then that my mother told me that the house that used to be there had burned down in the late 1940s. Wait, what? Record scratch, huh? The 1940s? And that, yes, the lady who had lived there had been a friend of my grandmother's, and that she, my mom, had a very distinct memory of visiting there with her mother when the lady had been ill and bringing food. She then said, "I always wondered who the little blonde girl was that I played with on the porch was that day." I asked Mama on the way home if she would bring me back to play with the little girl, and she was perplexed because there were no young children in the home at that time. Instantly, we were both covered in goosebumps when we realized that approximately 20 years before I was born, I played on a wraparound porch with my own mother.